I don't subscribe to the fact that people don't change. 3 years ago, when I had my first therapy session, I couldn't even look at the camera. I had my whole therapy session looking off to the side like this because I could not make eye contact with the person I was talking about. I was not able to look at someone and articulate my feelings. I couldn't even access my feelings. And now I talk about my feelings online. Now I hear feelings from other people and help them work to process it. And it just makes me think that where could I be in the next 3 years, right? So it's not that people can't change, it's that people often don't want to change because sometimes our houses are so fragile. And I remember feeling that. I'm like, if anything moves, this will all topple over. And now I feel like with the skills that I've learned, with the way that therapy has helped me, with the way that I see the world, and the mindset of growth that I love and enjoy, I can move a lot more freely. I can navigate. Things can happen in my life here that I would used to get upset about. And I recognize that it'll be okay. And there's a lot of faith in that. There's a lot of belief to say, okay, no matter what happens, we'll still work through it and we'll get through it. And I didn't have that before. The house that I had built was just so shallow and so protective of myself, protecting my heart, that it ultimately became just a selfish endeavor to always keep myself safe without really being vulnerable, without being honest, without being open, and certainly without having much of a heart or feeling. There's an example of an older man that I know who was one of my mentors when I was coming out of everything. And he was about 80 years old. And he had said to himself, he's like, I can never memorize anything. He was a teacher. And he said, I can never memorize anything. And we were doing a Bible study together that demanded that you memorize scripture. And he applied himself and he did it. And was just like, I've gone 80 years of my life thinking that I could not do this thing. And turns out I could. And by the end of it, he was memorizing scripture left and right. And I think that those examples are so powerful. And the more that us men talk about the changes that we can make when we try, the more that we can encourage more men and more generations of younger men and boys and even girls, I mean, who may be suppressed by their emotions as well. I mean, our whole families can benefit by us having that particular mindset that change is possible. Even though you may not want to, even if your spouse asks you to change things and we get defensive, recognizing that we can move past that initial fear and actually work to make the particular change. And I just would encourage anybody that it's not impossible. It's just scary. But scary isn't bad. Sometimes there's good things waiting on the other end of scary.